Hey, welcome, friends, to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives, and if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and this guy in Morocco, Ed Wallace. When we go live or upload another video. Hey, today we wanted to come live to you because Rex Heuermann's home is on day 3. They went back on Monday and it's now Wednesday. They're still searching. Our good friend Joey Brooklyn went there last night at my request. I asked him, hey, Joe, would you go out there? And he was like, hey, boss, I'm on it. I didn't even have to try to push him into it. I was like, Joe, would you mind going out there? He goes, I'm on it. He went out there and we saw at 6:45 local time, investigators still taking bags and items out of the Heuermann residence. This is a search, Ed, that went on in July of 2023, and it lasted almost 2 weeks. They were there with nobody could get their lawns cut. The streets were shut down. It was a media circus, and now we're back some 7 months later for round 2, day 3. What's your thoughts on this, Ed? Why are they back there, and what in God's name could they be doing, and what could they be collecting?
Well, I think they got juicy bits of evidence they found in a park not too far away, and that coupled with whatever is going on behind the scenes, and corroboration was established that got them into a court in front of a judge for another warrant, and they're getting a second bite at the apple, relatively speaking, and they're in there looking for connections. God willing, it's going to connect him to a couple of the other murders.
Yeah, because it's not just the Gilgo Beach 4 that we're looking at here. There are some 6, arguably 7 additional victims remains were scattered across Ocean Parkway and in Manorville, Long Island. The police were last month in April in Manorville for quite a bit of time with cadaver dogs and so forth. But when we hear, Ed, when we hear the medical examiner out on day 1, it makes you think. And as the true crime enthusiast watching these shows and watching all the coverage, the medical examiner goes out when there's human remains. And did Rex Heuermann, in fact, have bones, teeth, hair, and so forth at his home?
Skin, organs, eyes, who knows?
Yeah, so that's the question that gets left for everyone to wonder about. But, you know, again, we know as professionals that the medical examiner doesn't just come out to take a look around. They're called out there by supervisors who tell them, hey, we have reason to believe that we have human remains here. And they come out not just to take a peek around and say, oh, let me see what's happening there. They're always called out for reason. Let's listen to a little bit of day 3 coverage from our news affiliate, News 12 Long Island. So I'm going to put that on the screen. I'll leave Ed and I on, and we'll just take a listen to what News 12, which is a local affiliate, had to say.
It is day 3 of a search at the Massapequa Park home of the suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer, Rex Heuermann. News 12's crime reporter Krista McNally is also back there for us now. Krista?
That's right. Day 3 on a search that began Monday morning. And as far as we can see, there are no signs of them wrapping up just yet. Let me tell you what I'm speaking about. We are looking still at the command post for both state police and Suffolk County Police out front of Rex Heuermann's home. That is the small red home that you can see behind me. That is Rex's childhood home. We have seen several things coming out of his house, including boxes, a table, a television. And today we saw what appeared to be something that looked like a window. So there is still a lot of action here and a very, very big police presence. As far as
and I got to stop it there because I'm going to put us back on a window, something of that nature. Could there be blood on the window? I was almost going to say splatter. Any blood spatter on windows or anything left behind?
Come over here. You said splatter?
I did not. I said I was going to say it.
No. Well, listen, You know, we had that eyewitness testimony about seeing one of the victims in the window as the other parties were leaving, right, the house there. Could they have hit the window with luminol,
Ultraviolet. Yeah.
blue tar, and got a reaction where they think there might be blood in the window frame or in the wood of the window? Who knows? And if that's the case, then take the window, get it to the lab, have it analyzed.
Yeah, and here someone says in the chat, seek oh, I can't see it. Is it Seek in Ireland? Seek in
Seek
Ireland.
in Ireland.
Okay, great screen name. Seek in Ireland says a TV. Rex Heuermann, okay, is an architect by trade. We know that. We know that he is, by his own admissions in his previous interviews with the real estate guy who came to his office, that he loves woodworking. He loves to do stuff. Apparently, he doesn't like to renovate his home, but Rex Heuermann could have hidden something in the cabinet of a TV, a leg bone, a tooth. And I mean, God only knows what could be inside a TV and why they would take that. Anybody's
What kind
guess.
of TV is it? What kind of TV is it?
Yeah. So the interesting part about this, and I want to present this to our listening audience, Ed, because I don't like to derail our conversation. This is very relevant. Does anybody in the chat, and let us know by saying yes or no, in the chat, do you think it's kind of odd and maybe coincidental or maybe a pattern that we're seeing here? Asa Ellerup, Rex Heuermann's wife, was and claims that she was out of town when all of his devious alleged behavior happened. Is it coincidental that she happens to just be out of town when this search warrant is executed? Let me know in the chat if you feel that that's something that we should think about, because I think it's kind of, it's kind of creepily odd and this, the same set of circumstances. I wasn't home when all this stuff happened. I was traveling outside of the country, and now her and her son conveniently went down to South Carolina, maybe to his brother's property where they recovered his old Chevy Avalanche. Ed, were you thinking about that at all a little bit? Because my mind
absolutely.
was kind of,
Maybe they knew. Maybe law enforcement knew she was going to be out of town and with the family, and so they took advantage of that time period to execute the warrant.
It's just convenient. It's just too convenient and too coincidental that while her, like sort of her alibi was that, and this goes from her attorney, Rob Macedonia. He said, "Oh, my client was in Iceland. My client was not home when all of these alleged crimes happened." And now, when they hit the door, the daughter was there, but the Asa Ellerup and her son are down in South Carolina. Things that make you go, right? Let's listen to the rest of this, and then we'll move on.
It has quieted down a lot. It almost seems as if a window. So there is still a lot of action here and a very, very big police presence. As far as the community, it has quieted down a lot. It almost seems as if people here are getting used to having this large police presence here in Massapequa Park. Now, according to our sources, both Rex Heuermann's wife, his estranged wife, Asa Ellerup, and his son were in South Carolina when this investigation began, and his daughter was at the home Monday morning. None of them are here at this point. Now, of course, that has caused a lot of corruption.
The gentleman that you see here, where my cursor is the homicide commanding officer, Lieutenant Kevin Byron. And you heard the former police commissioner, Rodney Harrison, refer to him a lot in this case. And there he is on day 3, shaking hands and on the scene. So this is a hands-on lieutenant commander of, the commander of the homicide squad. And, he's arguably in charge of the Gilgo Beach task force on the Suffolk County side. So I always love to see the executives hands-on on scene. It shows the troops that, it's not just something that he's conducting these investigations and, running behind the scenes from his office. Ed, don't you think that's a good thing that he's out there on scene?
Yeah, on scene, showing the troops, leading from the front.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. So let's let the rest of this play.
For the people who live on the First Avenue near Rex Heuermann's home, they're having to go past police to get in and out of their driveways as they leave and come home every day. We spoke with one of those neighbors. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Asa told me, and Chris told me that they tore the place apart the first time, that there was no stone unturned. My opinion, if they didn't find anything there the first time, I really don't know what they could possibly be looking for. Or they.
Ed, I know that you have something to say about that because I see your face already. I know you're looking at the Hang Sang and you're looking at other things, but Ed, this is a retired fire department, FDNY firefighter. He also was the one who told the media some 8 months ago that he caught Rex Heuermann looking over the fence at his wife while she was in a bikini, and he had words with him. But now he seems to be singing a different tune and sticking up for them, saying, well, Asa told me and her son that they really went through the whole place. What could they possibly be looking for? Obviously, he doesn't know forensics, right?
Well, keep the forensics to the professionals, okay? Stick to putting out fires. That said, I saw some things, and I don't want to be picky-oony, but it seems like they were making a lot of big new boxes. They were putting boxes together to gather a lot of stuff up. Only one thing that disturbed me about what I saw.
Yeah, and we also were talking in the green room before we went live that we were not seeing the booties, we were not seeing the Tyvek. Although in the front you see guys and everyone going in with masks on, windows were open. We had the conversation: could it be it's hot now? It's 80 degrees here in New York. It's going to go up close to 90. And B, is it, is there a lot of dust and a dirty condition in there and some smell and so forth? Could be a number of things, but we look at it from a forensic standpoint on protocol: booties, Tyvek, masks, gloves, eyewear, eye protection, but we don't know what they're taking out of there. So that's also something as well. But I'm going to go to you, Ed, at the end of this clip to get your thoughts on possibly, what they could be taken out of there in those, in those boxes and in the bags that we saw. So I'll let the rest of this play uninterrupted. I promise.
Monday morning, none of them are here at this point. Now, of course, that has caused a lot of corruption for the people who live on the First Avenue near Rex Heuermann's home. They're having to go past police to get in and out of their driveways as they leave and come home every day. We spoke with one of those neighbors. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Asa told me, and Chris told me that they tore the place apart the first time, that there was no stone unturned. My opinion, if they didn't find anything there the first time, I really don't know what they could possibly be looking for or they could find this time.
Now, the district attorney will not tell us at this time exactly what they are searching for in the home. Again, as you'll remember, this home was originally searched about 10 months ago, right when Rex Heuermann was arrested. That is the latest from Massapequa Park. Krista McNally, News 12, Long Island.
All right, so that was the local coverage. And I know it's hard to do this, but, based on what we've seen, and you've looked at quite a bit of footage, the boxes that we saw on day one out in that front lawn, you had made a statement that you think that maybe she didn't even go through the boxes, that they returned to them as we saw them stacked up. And that was a very good point that you brought up. But we know that they're coming out with new bags and new evidence, because at 6:45 yesterday, Joey Brooklyn had video footage of them coming out. So thoughts? Yeah,
well, I just thought that the most likely scenario is those boxes were in there from when they were returned, because they were setting up, they were doing a lot of things. There's no way they could have made that amount of boxes, to gather things up. And it just looked like they took them out of the house and put them out there to get them out of the way for the searches that we're conducting inside the house.
Yeah, and this is the item that I was discussing with you before we went live. I'm going to stop it here. Can you get a good look at that? I mean, I'll go full screen with it so you can see it. Looks like a chest.
Looks like a two-drawer. It could be a chest if that's the way it's normally held, or could be a two-drawer dresser.
Yeah, so they are walking this out of the Rex Heuermann's home. Two guys, masks and gloves on. But again, could there be biological evidence in there? Could be clothing in there from the victims. It could be, if there. Let me ask you this. Let's ask a hypothetical, and I keep skipping around this, but I'm just going to get right to it. If there's human remains in something like that, is that indicative of how you would remove that from the house?
No, no. Well, first of all, you wouldn't have left the human remains in there if that's the way they're carrying it out of the house. Okay. Those would have been removed because obviously the remains are the authority and property of the medical examiner's office, not law enforcement.
Right.
Now,
So if there was bones in there, they wouldn't be taking that out like that.
no, the bones would be out. And even if the bones were taken out, then I would have. I mean, they have all those big boxes. They have large paper bags. There's ways to package this stuff. Even if you're using just clean craft paper to wrap it, I wouldn't leave it exposed the way it is right there.
Right. Let's take a look into this. Let's take a look and a listen to this report. This is day 2.
Investigators back at the home of accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann for the second straight day. Members of the Gilgo Beach Homicide Task Force seen walking out of the home with a box. They still haven't said why they returned to Heuermann's home as he awaits trial. Long Island reporter Shantae Lands live outside the home in Massapequa Park with more. Shantae?
Well, Sandra, you hit the nail on the head. What exactly is the Gilgo Beach Task Force returning here to look for inside Rex Heuermann's home, and also what brought them back here in the first place? Large bags brought out along with bins and boxes, and even a notebook. Some of the many items.
Yeah, I mean, this could be papers. This could be things that he documented some of his craft with. But they're taking out a lot of stuff at day 2. This is not the beginning. This is day 2, and they're doing it again today.
Ron, they may also be taking back things they gave back and
right.
not realizing their evidential value the first go around, and they returned it to the family. And then all of a sudden new pieces of evidence show up, new information show up, and they said, oh shit, we got to go back there and get that stuff.
Right. We shouldn't have returned that to him. That's something that most people don't think about, Ed, but there could have been an oops moment. But I really feel strongly that the search out in Manorville also brought them back here, and additional, as we do investigations, one door leads to another. You walk down a hallway and there's door on the left, door on the right, you open it up. So there could be a potential for a very wide variety of different reasons why they're back there and what they're getting. And Tammy Donaldson says it well. It's a hoarder's house. They definitely are, hoarder. Rodney Harrison was a gentleman about how he described it, and he said it was mass clutter or something like that. But essentially, he was being kind. The house is definitely, definitely a mess inside. There's no question about it. What did you have up on the screen?
To answer Seekin Ireland's question, she wrote, do all serial killers keep trophies? Typically. I can't say all. You never want to say all. But a majority of them have collected trophies so that they can relive the event. And trigger alert, because they get off on reliving these events in between kills.
Yeah, we do see it in a lot of the cases, Ed, and thank you for answering that question. I'm going to let the rest of this play. And Rex Heuermann, look, he had 400 hidden electronic devices. I was listening to some coverage, and they were saying that they used dogs, and I wasn't aware of this. There are dogs that can seek electronic devices. Like, I never really did any research into that, but somebody talked about it. They utilized the dog, and they found 400 hidden electronic devices. Now they have to go through all the web activity on those devices, the emails, the searches, everything on those 400 some odd devices that they recovered from this guy.
specially trained electronic seeking dogs.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's let the rest of this play because it's just a minute.
Large bags brought out along with bins and boxes, and even a notebook. Some of the many items of evidence taken out of accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann's Massapequa Park house.
I think it's crazy that what could be happening in there, what they're looking for, what they're looking to bring out of there.
Investigators return after 10 months setting up tents once again in the front yard. You can see one carrying what looks like a camera bag, walking it to a trailer.
Oh man, I can't believe it. Really, it's shocking again.
Etienne Divier is Rex Heuermann's next door neighbor of 30 years. He says state police knocked on his door when they arrived to Heuermann's home yesterday morning.
He kind of, filled us in on what was going on and what they're doing, and they got a search warrant, and they're gonna be here for a few days. And I said, how long? And they said, we really don't know.
Heuermann's daughter, whose face is blurred, we're told was home. His wife, Asa Ellerer, and their son were out of town.
I spoke to Chris the other day, the son, and he told me that they were very upset that they delayed the trial.
Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney staying tight-lipped about the return to Heuermann's home.
Investigations evolve, new information comes in, and as that new information comes in, it becomes necessary to take additional steps. And that's what we're doing.
This after a wider wooded search.
Ed, I wanted to, and I hate to keep doing this because I'll forget about it. Remember Ray Tierney in the beginning of this? I want to put us back on. He was a bit mouthy, and there was a lot of press conferences. And then he pumped the brakes towards the middle of this investigation. And that's when Rodney Harrison was exiting towards the end of 2023, when Christmas time was coming, December. And then he pumped the brakes and said, we don't want to try this case in the media. And now he's sticking true to that here. They're not releasing anything. And, I even reached out to some of my friends who are on Suffolk and Nassau, and they're like, listen, we're not getting anything, because they don't want any of this to slip out, because they want to have a solid case to bring justice for not just the 4 victims that Rex is accused of murdering, but these additional 6 or 7 other victims, and maybe many, many more. Your thoughts on that, Ed?
Yeah, like you said, in the beginning, he was giving press conferences, and then we said to ourselves, well, this is odd because he's given a lot of information. Then he stopped. Okay. And now we're back here with no press conferences, no words coming out of the prosecutor's office. And they're out here with a warrant doing this crime scene again. Now, people are asking, hey, is Rex talking? Now, who knows? But what's his motive? What's his incentive to talk?
Yeah, and he's lawyered up, so I don't think his
And-
lawyer is going to advise him to talk.
And both his lawyer and her lawyer were shocked about this new warrant. Okay,
Right,
that they're out
yeah.
there. So I don't know. And there was like people saying, well, could there be evidence of her participation still there? And yeah, anything is possible, I guess. If they didn't remove that type of information, and then finding out about the 400 pieces of electronic evidence that were recovered, and
Yeah.
and
That's in addition to what they already let us know they have. But here, crime and wine, this is going to drive people crazy, because you have a case like this where investigators were giving up too much. We were critical of them early on. We were like, they're saying too much. And most detectives and most people who did this job said, yeah, that's odd, that they would do that. It's not really common. But now they pump the brakes. Now you have the people who want to hear and see everything. And will there be another press conference? I doubt it. I highly doubt it, because they got Rex Heuermann on ice. He's in the Suffolk County Jail in Riverhead. He's not going anywhere. And they have all the time in the world to collect as much evidence as they need in this case. And that's advantage the good guys, and justice is what we're looking for.
yeah, and in addition, there it's just, they're going to have to answer out what they did to the judge when they finish this warrant. And there's going to be a freedom of information request. It's going to become a public document as to what they told the judge they removed from this house.
Right.
So
right.
that information is going to get out unless Ray seals it or ask a court to seal it.
Right. And we've seen them do that in the past. But like you said, a lot of this stuff is going to be a big, huge document dump, and it's going to give us a lot to talk about, because it should be interesting to hear and find out what in God's name are they removing. And it's taken them 3 days. And don't forget, folks, they're there for 12 hours every day. The Suffolk County Police operates on a 12-hour shift. So they go from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, and then some 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. There's no searching overnight. They just secure that scene. But that home at Rex Heuermann's house in Massapequa Park has to be secured 24/7 until they are done. And there is no time limit on that search warrant. The search warrant will be, they'll execute and finish that search warrant when they deem that they collected all that they need to collect. And we saw last year it took 12 days for them to close up that scene there. So who knows? Could we be in this for another week? Could this go into Memorial Day?
Well, here's another thing. They have to stay there. They have to maintain their presence there. They can't lock the place up and leave and then come back in the morning, because then they would need a new warrant. So this
Correct.
has to be a continuous operation with somebody there holding down the fort.
Yep. And that's why we saw on Joey Brooklyn's footage, we saw a Suffolk County police vehicle back into that driveway, and it was a marked vehicle. And Ed, a lot of people don't realize this, but I'll put us back full on the screen. When these search warrants are conducted, no matter where it is, this is probably, U.S. wide, throughout the United States, they do this, police. There has to be a uniformed police officer, uniformed member of service, uniformed police presence has to be there when there are plainclothes detectives and crime scene technicians and lab technicians there, because people just, they question, they say, well, why, why is a police officer there? That is protocol. That is protocol, because you want a uniformed member of service, somebody in uniform, so the people on that block and the public sees that it's the police there and not, just somebody doing some Operation Secret Squirrel. So there's always, and I know this from being in warrants, when we would do our search warrants, when we would debrief somebody and get a search warrant for guns, drugs, whatever, there would always have to be uniform presence there. So what do you got on the screen?
Here we go again. Everybody loves the curtains.
Oh my God. You're gonna have to take a piece of those curtains and bring it home.
I'm gonna have to buy them, and then we'll auction them off.
Yeah, we'll have an auction. All right, let's let the rest of this play. This is a NYPD canine. They had cadaver dogs and bloodhounds and so forth out on the grounds of in Manorville, out in the grounds by the Pine Barrens area. But it's amazing, they were out there for days.
Search in and around Manorville over the past few weeks. The DA confirming
it's necessary to take additional steps, and that's what we're doing.
this after a wider wooded search in and around Manorville over the past few weeks. The DA confirming it's part of the same investigation. 4 of the 10 Gilgo Beach remains have been tied to Heuermann, who's been charged with murder. The remaining 6 murders are unsolved. The Gilgo Beach Task Force returning, bringing back out onlookers and neighbors alike.
It's just something that, we were biking. We're like, let's go take a look.
Just being nosy, I guess.
I hope this is the guy that did it, and they put him away.
Do you think they have the right guy?
Jeez, I don't know. I never seen Rex's violent person, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For the sake of the kids, I hope they don't have the right guy.
Wow, that's the next. This guy lives right here. This is Rex's house behind this reporter here. This guy lives right here, and that was the same guy. I'm going to find that interview. He said he almost he almost came to a scuffle with Rex Heuermann. He got in his face and said, if you look over at my wife again, we're going to have a problem. He caught that creep peering over. The ogre was peering over his fence while his wife is in her bikini in the pool in his yard. And now he's saying that he feels like they got the wrong guy. I don't know. Interesting. So let's go to the chat. Hashtag Ed, hashtag DutyRon. This is a case that, listen, we have Valerie Mack, who was killed out in Manorville, and Jessica Taylor. These are two additional victims that their remains were found in parts of them were found in Manorville, and parts of them were found on Gilgo on the Ocean Parkway. And they are considered tied into this Long Island serial killer case. So, found out body parts, remains found in two separate locations. And this goes back to 1996, folks. 1993, 1994. You could go back and talk about Rita Tangretti and Colleen McNamee. They were also killed out in Manorville, 1993, 1994. John Bitroff was convicted of murder of those victims, but some of them had ties to the other victims, like they were friends with the other victims. These were all sex workers. So, Ed, did you see anything in the chat while I was rambling there?
Yeah, it's just Schmitty making fun of me. Swing sweat.
Swing sweat. She's never going to let go of that swing sweat. Let's take a listen to day one from the coverage when this all started. Again, I go to News 12 Long Island because they are the news source for Long Island. They cover everything. And I know you got your family lives out in Long Island. News 12 is like the go-to for everybody that's on the island. So this is day one coverage from Monday, folks.
Again, with the latest at the home of suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann. Nassau, Suffolk, and state police all back at his Massapequa Park house today. Crime reporter Krista McNally has been there since early this morning. Krista, is it still an active scene there?
It is still a very active scene here, Antoinette. And once again, we are seeing a search done at Rex Heuermann's home. This is the second time within a 10-month period that his home is being searched. Now, what we have seen today is state police, Nassau police, and Suffolk police all here on scene. Their command centers are here, and we did see a medical examiner's vehicle pulling in as well. Now, we do not know exactly what they are searching for at this time. What I can tell you is this is the home where his estranged wife, Asa Ellerup, and his children still live, and we have seen them taking boxes out from inside of the residence.
Investigations evolve, new information comes in, and as that new information comes in, it becomes necessary to take additional steps. And that's what we're doing.
Suffolk DA Ray Tierney saying very little this afternoon on why law enforcement was back inside the home of suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann. According to sources, they executed little this afternoon on why law enforcement was back inside the home of
Ed, there's the boxes that you made a reference to on Monday. So again, folks, we worked our way back from day 3, which is today, back to day 1. So these are boxes that have evidence tape, as you could see here across.
Yeah, those are new boxes.
Right, so new boxes, but this is what we were looking at, and day 1 when we covered this, and you were like, oh, maybe these are some of the boxes they took out, but these are a lot of new boxes right there.
Yeah, those are new boxes. The other boxes that were there were totally different. They were more like the white boxes that you see
over here.
Yeah, and you can see some of them are unopened. They were just, recently made and taped, because I saw the young lady from the lab taping them closed.
Yeah. Janet Murphy in the chat says that's a lot of work.
Yep.
Schmitty's exiting. I have to go to an assignment now and get invaded by more cicadas. This sucks. Schmitty, be careful. They don't bite, so they're just, some people just don't like them.
They're just loud.
Yeah, they're loud, make a lot of noise. Yeah, I mean, a lot of work, and this work is continuing on day 3. And Addicted Mind says, wow, that's a lot of evidence. This is just the first day, and they've been going on 12 hours a day since Monday till now Wednesday, and they're going to be there again for the whole day today. So let's let the rest of this play.
Suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann. According to sources, they executed a second search warrant early this.
Okay.
What did I see?
Here, I see Oh wait, there's a concrete deck under. There's a concrete.
There's no
slab underneath
concrete.
that.
It's a wood deck.
According to sources, they executed a
Shut up,
second
Ed.
search warrant early this morning. It is unclear if this is
So Ed, you see this guy with the brown bag here? All kidding aside, and I love that Ed and I can always keep kidding around. But this here, this is a
Yeah.
paper bag that's folded up and then
And sealed at top. Yeah.
Yeah. And this guy's taking it and putting it in the back of that box truck.
Hmm.
Got so many questions from people about what could be in the contents of a brown paper bag. Can you, again, I know it's redundant and I see you smiling, but could you answer that for our true crime friends, Ed?
Yeah. For the most part, we put biological or genetic material type evidence in paper and cardboard. Okay. But can we use paper for any number of types of evidence? Yeah, especially big and bulky things. We could wrap it in paper or put it in paper or cardboard as well.
All right. So I hope that answers a lot of questions. People, again, many emails, social media, direct messages. People are saying wood. They're agreeing with you, Ed. It's all wood. Nobody can see with X-ray vision under that wood, because again, in my backyard, I have a wooden deck, but I poured a full concrete slab under it so I wouldn't get any rot under there, and didn't just do the concrete stanchions. I poured a slab because my thinking is when that deck rots out and I get rid of it, I want to have a concrete patio. So, but I don't think Rex Heuermann did that. I don't think that he is.
Look, he's barely keeping the front roof over his porch up.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's such a freaking eyesore.
And the guy's an architect.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's just crazy. Suffolk County Crime Lab. We see State Crime Lab. Would a county like Suffolk, with their extensive crime lab, go outside to, like, say, an Ortham lab? We know that they did that, but would they go outside and contract work out, or do they turnkey, Ed, out in Yaphank?
Well, you don't want to inundate the lab, so maybe they're farming out portions of the work to the other labs as well. Okay, yeah. Because look at how much stuff they're pulling out of there. Right, because that could shut down many labs, especially these smaller labs, if they had to go through that all by themselves. So maybe their mutual aid agreement has them sharing the load on the, taking this stuff back to two different labs and looking at it.
Because it's an awful lot of evidence to process. All of this stuff is right. Somebody has to look at each individual piece of this evidence and go through it. Right?
Yeah, and before you can do that, you got to document. You got to pull each of these items out of their packaging and photograph it and get it documented and notes taken of it, and then you proceed to do whatever examinations you're going to do. Look, it's a box truck worth of evidence.
Yeah, I would say multiple box trucks, because we saw one in the driveway, and then there was one out on the street that they were going to. So arguably from the beginning to the end. Like I'm talking about the first search as well. You could be looking at like 6 to 8 full, truckloads of evidence.
How's the weather looking in the next couple of days in that neck of the woods?
Hold on a second, Ed. I'm hearing something a little funky with your audio. Hold on a second. I'm not sure if that's me or you, but all right. Let's listen to the rest of this, and then we'll.
Did you hear what I said?
No.
I said, how's the weather forecast for the next couple of days? Because if it rains, they're going to be in trouble.
Very warm. It's supposed to be very warm. So yeah, they're saying you turned into a robot. Let me remove you and add you back.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell that is. But I definitely do hear it in my, hold on, let me edit mic settings. Oh, I got it. I got it now.
Did you have me on Devo setting?
No, it's just you're sounding like all a little garbled and stuff. Maybe if you could go out and then come back in. I'll play this piece. You could do that. All right, Ed's going to fix that.
It is unclear if this is related to the 4 murder charges he is already facing for allegedly killing 4 women, or if this has to do with other victims.
So they've executed a search warrant this morning. They went into the residence. Whatever the court has allowed them to search for, they're going to search for. whatever they're allowed to take by with that, again, that warrant.
This is Patrick Ryder, the Nassau County Police Commissioner, and he is basically he's actually given the most information that I heard from the police departments and also from the DA. The DA didn't really give us anything. So let's take a listen to Patrick Ryder, which is the Nassau County Police Commissioner. Now, Rex Heuermann's home is in Nassau County. So that's why the Nassau County Police are involved in this, and also parts of victims, Peaches and her her young child were scattered over in Hempstead Lake State Park. So parts of her remains were found there, and also along Ocean Parkway. And here's also some common denominators and some commonalities when you look at these crimes and how they were committed. A lot of these women are dismembered and then scattered in different locations to try to avoid detection or avoid being caught. So those are some things also too for us to look at.
Whatever the court has allowed them to search for, they're going to search for. Whatever they're allowed to take by with that, again, that warrant, they will take. And then it will continue their ongoing investigation.
Nassau Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder says they are assisting the Suffolk police. According to sources, Asa Ellerup and her son are in South Carolina and were not here on Monday. Rex's daughter was at the First Avenue home this morning.
I was contacted last week. I was apprised of what they were going to do. We are full partners with the Suffolk County PD and the Suffolk County DA's office.
Heuermann's home was searched for nearly 2 weeks when he was arrested 10 months ago.
The investigation is continuing and ongoing, and we're taking the necessary investigative steps, but we're not going to talk about those steps until they've been concluded.
Now, police tell us they assume the search this time around will be much shorter than the original search, which was just shy of 2 weeks. Again, as you can see, the block is now closed off on First Avenue where Heuermann's home is, and that is sparking a lot of interest from neighbors, many of them coming down here. My colleague Cecilia Dowd has been speaking with people in this area throughout the day.
So that's about it. And I want to say this, Ed, I hope you're back, and I hope the cicadas are gone.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're perfect now. This was day one. Monday was much cooler here. It wasn't freezing cold, but it was in the 60s. Then yesterday it was in the high 70s, close to 80 actually. And then today we're in the high 80s. So temperatures have been, gradually going up. And that's the reason why this reporter here, and people were questioning, why is she wearing a jacket, or a coat? It was a little cooler. This was Monday. So let's go to the chat. I want to. There's so many great questions and great comments in the chat. So I want to go to it. Greg Hall Art says, "Can you imagine how long the list is on the search warrant?" Yeah, when they do that search warrant return, Ed, you touched on it, and so did I earlier. It's going to be many, many pages because they have to document what they took out of that house and report it back to the judge, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And then again, all the news people are going to put in their request to get that information, and they're going to publish that list if he doesn't go to a judge and have it frozen.
Absolutely. So Ed, if you don't mind, scan over the chat. I'm going to just play a little bit of overhead footage. This is from like channel 7, ABC 7, and this is right as the search warrant team arrived onto the location. So a couple of people, I want to thank Wendy Kraft for becoming a member back again, and Jeff, our good friend, always sending in super chats. Hi Ed, good to see you.
Jeff.
Great show. Yes. Thank you, Jeff. Always appreciate you and the missus being here. All right. Trying to cherry pick some questions. Guys, we're looking at the chat now. So if you got questions, and as we look at this overhead, which is interesting always to see the overhead. Yeah, Debbie Carroll is a local, and she says it's really warm today. It's hot outside actually. So it's the first day it feels really like summer here in New York. So, and they are out there.
Sharon asked if they're going to use a 3D laser scanner inside the house. I would imagine they had already done that from the previous warrant. If it calls for it again here, yeah, they should definitely use it.
I see a detective there with a cup of coffee. This was early on. They're just starting to set up the tents. But again, here's that box truck backed into the driveway. And then another, this is, I believe, the medical examiner's van that everybody was referring to. And they were there first. And medical examiner's there first. ATS News, good to see you. Thank you, Amber, for being here. She's now a Long Island. She moved to Long Island. She's a fellow neighbor of mine. So she came from upstate New York and is down here on the island enjoying some beautiful Long Island weather today. Yeah, so this is, it's not just shocking, it's just amazing that there could be that much evidence and evidentiary value so long, 8-10 months ago, arguably they were there. People just are just flustered when they think about this and be like, wow, look at this. This is like a repeat of what we had last summer. Papa says, DutyRon, do you gentlemen know if the inside of the doll/mannequin has been searched? I mean, we don't know, but I would assume that they took that thing apart or did whatever they had to do to look, right?
Right, X-rayed it. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Everything is going to be sifted to and watched and looked at and everything.
That's a helicopter.
Yeah, that is a helicopter. Thank you, Ed. That's the end of that. Shaniqua Terry says, respect. Triple OG Strong Island. DutyRon, born and raised Shinnecock. Thank you for bringing the facts. Well, thank you for being here, Ed, and I appreciate you tremendously. Here's one from PF. Question. Is the presence of the medical examiner an indication that there are bio or remains found? So this might be someone who came in, obviously, after we talked about it. Ed, I'll let you take that.
Yeah, typically, we call out a medical examiner when we need that expertise there. In the case of finding body parts, actual bodies, or organs, tissue, bone, teeth, hair, any number of things, because any of that type of material that's found, the jurisdiction of that is not law enforcement, it's the medical examiners, so that they own that property.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And you want that expertise out there to distinguish animal from human or prosthetic or whatever the case may be.
All right, so I want to highlight this because our good friend Joey Brooklyn took the time out of his day to go out there. Why is this not cooperating? So Joey Brooklyn took the time out of his day to go out there and do some footage for us. I can't say thank you enough to Joey for this. I want to add it in. This was yesterday, folks. This is a look at yesterday from Joey. And I was asking him to kind of zoom in. So he's just walking up and he got scolded. Ed, you said he got spanked by the state trooper right here, right? Let's listen to Joey get spanked by the trooper.
Yeah, I didn't want Joey getting arrested.
Yeah, so here's a news photographer leaving. This was yesterday at 6:45 p.m. Meredith says, DutyRon, given his age, do you think he has other victims prior to these? I would have to answer that as yes. Ed, what would you think?
Yeah, I said it before. I'll say it again. This isn't his first go around. Okay, he's been doing this for a while.
I agree. You don't just become devious and evil the way Rex Heuermann is. It just doesn't just develop. So he's been doing this for a long time, and I think there's many more victims. Maybe over double digits of victims. I'm talking into the 10 to 20 victims potentially here from different states. Remember, he traveled to Vegas. He traveled to his other properties. This guy was, and when he was traveling, this obsession, this vile behavior doesn't just all of a sudden poof go away. It's within him, and he's doing it. He's doing it wherever he goes. Let's listen to Joey Brooklyn get corrected, because what he does here is, here's my cursor. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably can't. But he goes right beyond this news reporter and walks straight up. He asks the news reporter, is the house on the right or left? Because he's never been there. And Joey Brooklyn goes to the left where this blue THV is, and he tries to walk down the sidewalk. And this trooper jumps out of his car, and Joey calls him sir. And troopers don't like when you call them sir. They want to be called trooper, state trooper. If it's a state trooper, they want to be called trooper. Let's listen.
So for those of you who don't know what a THV is, that's NYPD talk for temporary headquarters vehicle.
Thank you, Ed.
It's to the left, the house. It's to the left. Oh, it's to the right. Oh, where the tents are, right. So I'm going to walk this way. Let's see if they say anything.
He said that sarcastically to Joey. He goes, yeah, it's where the tents are, over here to the right.
Knows. All right, thank you. To the right, gotcha. No, I'm just talking to this gentleman. Yeah. So there we go, guys. There it is. Second house to the right. See where the tents are?
He's practically on this trooper's car. I got to tell you, Ed, that's a pretty damn good view. And that he's using his phone, his camera on his phone with a gimbal. And that's at 6:45 p.m. day 2. And they're still, watch, he's going to show you when he gets to that angle, you're going to see detectives coming out with bags still.
So I could see right now that they're taking out boxes right now, some type of boxes. Exactly. All right, let's see.
He tries to walk
if I can walk this way.
Sorry, you gotta stay behind the fence.
Oh, behind the fence? Okay, sir, no problem. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Joey, what a gentleman. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it. We appreciate that. When people do that and say that to us, we definitely appreciate that. And Joey he backs the blue 110%.
Okay, I could stay right here. Thank you. So there's the Suffolk County Command Post, Nassau County Police, state troopers. Yeah, I'm zooming now. Hold on. Let me get you a nice clear shot here.
Here it is, Ed.
Yep.
There we go. Thank you, President Mitch. Dawn Marie's in the house. Good to see you, Dawn. Cheryl F. Yeah, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, here. Karen Cole, good to see you. Glenda. Let's see how much more I could zoom. Well, there it is, guys.
The wife does live there. She still lives there with the 2 kids.
Wait. Right there. Yeah, they're removing boxes right now.
Yeah, you can see right there. He's carrying out a
The
box.
detectives are doing their thing.
Yeah. How many runs to the lab with these boxes?
Yes, sure does. So there's a zoom out. Let me just pan over.
Look at this. And you know what? I can't even blame Stardust for this comment, because Asa Ellerup has been nothing but acting real shady, like signing that $1 million deal with Peacock, and also signing an extra, I don't even know how much she's getting from 50 Cent. His production company, she signed on with 2 production companies to make money off of what? What is she making money off of? The death and destruction that it's been alleged that her husband created of multiple women over a span of many, many years. So she's capitalizing and making money off the deaths of others. There's no other more vile thing that you can do than to try to capitalize on somebody else's murder. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Agati, amen. I mean, let me know in the chat what you guys think of that. Don't hold back. Let us know. All right, just a little bit more Joey Brooklyn, because I want to play the part where a woman comes up to Joey Brooklyn and goes, "Hey, do you know DutyRon?" "Oh yeah, well, my sister's a big fan of DutyRon's." You got to hear this. This is hilarious.
Over to the left, and I'll show you. There's the command post, Suffolk County Command Post.
There's the uniform member of service right there to the right of that.
Hello, Kathy. Thank you, Wanda. Hello from Scotland. And if you could share this out, I really appreciate it. This is Suffolk. From my own eyes looking.
This is the best shot that I've seen so far. And news reporters are out there continuously, but this shot that he held for 15, 20 minutes or longer was, in my eyes, the best shot. And Ed, you pay attention to details, because you said to me, wasn't that cute of the Suffolk County to block Joey Brooklyn's shot?
Yeah, eventually they'll back a SUV in there and block his shot.
Yep, because they see that uniform cop saw Joey looking, with the camera this way, and this guy pulls that van out, and then they back an RMP in there. So
technical questions. And khaki. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Who is that? Dams, thank you so much for people. And we just I'm actually live on YouTube right now.
Here it is.
And I'm just showing everybody, that they came back.
So I want to set this up. So Joey's doing the shot. I actually asked him to go out here. On my drive home from the office yesterday, I called Joey and I was like, "Joey, would you mind going out to Rex Heuermann's home and giving me some shots and some video? Do a live stream, but get me like 10 minutes of just no sound, just a shot of the house and stuff like that." I was just thinking, of using it for members or for Patreon or whatever. So Joey's like, yeah, I'll go there and I'll shoot this. So he's shooting, doing his live stream, and he did a great job. But as he's doing the live stream, a woman comes up with the dog, and the dog starts jumping on Joey, and he's petting the dog. And then you got to hear what she says.
8 months later, they came back, which means that they're gathering more evidence. That's what that means.
What do you think they missed? That's what we're trying to figure out.
That's a good point.
What do you think they
we really
missed?
don't know, because it's not been put out there yet. We do know that,
Digging up the backyard?
you know what?
Are they
A
digging
lot of
up the
people have been
backyard?
asking me this question. And I says, well, I won't assume that, because I don't have a drone that I could see. And I'm not allowed to cross this. I cannot cross. I just have to stay right here. But yeah. Listen, I believe in justice, and I feel sorry for the victims, regardless of what they did for a living. It has nothing to do with that. Everybody's somebody's child, right? And we just can't allow that, It can't happen.
They're human
Really
beings.
sad. I actually feel sorry for the people that live on the block.
Yeah.
Because they got to deal with this.
It's a lot to deal with.
They can't park maybe, or listen, it's.
Well, they must let them in and out.
Well, yeah, probably, but it's a hassle.
Yeah.
You get a lot of lurkers like me, people like I come live streaming to looking and stuff.
It's human nature.
It is human nature, because we care about humanity.
Yeah.
It's not, we care about people and humanity. And
What's your YouTube channel?
Joey Brooklyn, Joey BK. Well, I'm from Brooklyn, so I've done here 2 years. BKLYN. Yeah. On YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll follow you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and subscribe to it. A very dear friend of mine, retired NYPD detective.
DutyRon?
How do you know DutyRon?
I already subscribed to him
Oh.
long ago.
Oh,
I've been
really?
following him forever.
Does he know you?
No, but last year we saw him.
Oh, you
there.
saw him?
My
Well, he's.
sister loves
Hold on.
So last year I was there live. If you guys watched the video or watched my channel for a while, I was out there live, and a woman tapped me on the shoulder while I was doing some recording and I was right in that same spot where Joey was. and she goes, she taps it. She goes, "Are you DutyRon?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I am such a big fan." And she goes, "Do you mind if I hug you? Can I have a hug?" So right on camera, she hugged me, and then her husband was there. And the husband goes, "I can't even interrupt my wife when she's watching you and Ed Wallace because she's glued to the screen." So this was her sister, because she lives on the block, and her sister was visiting. So that's why when Joey said my friend, and she was like, "DutyRon," so they all, it was pretty funny. It was just,
and that's why DutyRon can't go back there, because he's a serial stalker.
I'm going back tonight. Ed.
You're gonna get collared.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to get collared. I have my credentials. Listen, so I want to thank Joey Brooklyn for going out there and getting this footage, because again, he gave us a perspective, reeling this in. He gave us a perspective for an hour and 5 minutes. That phenomenal. Here's the police, the Suffolk County cop backing his patrol car in there to block the shot. But Joey stayed there for an hour and 5 minutes. But not only did he do that, he stayed for an additional 10 minutes and gave some footage for us to use. So I want to just show that real quick while I got you on. Hold on a second. I just got to grab the WhatsApp, and then we'll wrap it up. And again, questions from the chat. Anybody that has any questions, please put it in the chat. So this is what Joey did for us, Ed, and I thank him tremendously.
Thank you, Joey.
So this was the live shot, and this is like really great quality because it's not put through any kind of streaming software. So this is just him videotaping from the location. You could hear. This was after he did his hour live stream. And he just gave us this shot. So thank you, Joey Brooklyn. I've linked his channel in the description. I want everybody to go over and subscribe to Joey Brooklyn's channel. Oh, he's in the chat. Oh, okay, there he is. There's Joey Brooklyn. So yeah,
Joey B.
Thank you, Joey B, for doing a phenomenal bang-up job at Rex Heuermann's home on day 2. This is day 3 coverage. So Christine Floyd says, have they thoroughly investigated the wife? We have to assume that they have thoroughly, and they continue to thoroughly investigate the wife. And let me just say this, just because Asa Ellerup is not charged with anything doesn't mean that more information can develop down the road, and she could be charged, and we could hear shocking breaking news that she is charged. But as of right now, they don't have enough probable cause to make an arrest of Asa Ellerup. And, right now we just have to sit and wait. But do we think that she had some knowledge of what was going on? Well, we certainly heard statements from Attorney John Ray and witnesses that she was involved. I don't want to go into it and derail this whole thing, but Asa Ellerup is, by other people's admissions and statements given to John Ray, attorney, she was there, and she actually saw, I believe, Karen Vergata in the home and run out of that home naked. Like, there's a whole crazy thing going on about Asa Ellerup. We can't forget that, because that's, again, an eyewitness that swore out a statement. I don't know, Ed, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, she definitely put it under oath. All right. She swore out an affidavit, and haven't heard one way or the other what Ray is doing with it. So
right.
Ray Tierney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know if they've tracked down all the players involved. I understood they tracked down that detective and spoke to them, but we don't know the outcome of any of this.
I'm going to look to see what Sleuth Investigates tagged me on. I'm trying to look for it. I just want to take a look real quick. But yeah, I mean, all of this stuff has to be okay. So can I show your Twitter, Sleuth Investigate? It says The Real Deal. I think that's you. It says #DutyRon. This picture, first picture, is from Rex Heuermann's garage from the search. Second photo is the Rubbermaid part of Peaches that was found in. So this is, if this in fact is true, and now I have no way of vetting this, but Peaches is the female black that was found, part of her torso was found at Hempstead Lake State Park, and then the other part of her torso was found along Ocean Parkway in Gilgo.
And why was she called Peaches?
Because there was a tattoo of a peach
Peach
on her.
tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. So, did I get permission from her? DutyRon, you could show it. Okay, thank you. All right, so let me share this. So thank you for tagging me on Twitter. So it says DutyRon, first picture from Rex garage, Heuermann's garage from the first search. Second photo is the Rubbermaid part of Peaches was found in. Not sure if you've seen this. Maybe nothing burger, but it's interesting. So that's the green Rubbermaid that part of her remains were found in at Hempstead Lake State Park, which coincidentally I've gone live from many a times by my house. And here it is right there.
Well, a similar one, right?
Right, and of course there could just be a coincidence here, but it's when you look at it, where you have all of these people who were killed, how coincidental is it that? I mean, I'm sure that there's hundreds of thousands and gazillions of these green containers sold, but inside his garage, and then boom, this is the actual container that her remains were recovered. This is probably a crime scene photo of some sort that was released. Thank you, The Real Deal on Twitter. And I guess you're not following me and I'm not following you, so I guess I got to follow now. So I just followed that account. Thank you for that. Ed, your thoughts? Ed?
Yeah. And that, looked into, maybe track down the sale. If they look at the barcodes, if the barcodes are still there from on the side there of that bin, and then they can track down where it was sold from, and then link him to the sale of this Tupperware, this green Tupperware. The same thing with the Tupperware that's currently seen in that photograph in the garage. If the barcode is there, they can figure out what store sold it, and if it's in the area, then they can link it back to him. That's a home run. Am I sounding funny again?
It fixed itself. You got to ignore the chat because everybody goes crazy in the chat. When things like this happen, we're aware of it. We just try to fix it as we go, and it fixed itself. So this is the first picture, and thank you again, The Real Deal on X, on Twitter. This is the clutter inside of the garage that we see from that driveway, that garage that doesn't shut completely. Here it is. This is a crime scene, I guess, a photograph that was released by the news of the clutter. And there you have a green container, and then boom, another green container from Peaches remains. Now, I don't think that, obviously, if that container was taken into custody at that location there, maybe he had a couple of, and as Ed said, maybe there's a lot. Like, maybe if he bought 2 or 3, right? Am I going in the wrong direction here, Ed? If he bought 2 or 3,
if you went to my garage today, you'll find those same containers that have my Christmas ornaments in them.
Right, mine too. But we buy multiple at a time, or maybe maybe sometimes we'll get 1 or 2.
You check the credit card statements, see when they were purchased, around what time frame. You see if they correlate with the time of these missing women. There's a lot of legwork that has to be done now on that Tupperware.
Yeah, they're definitely shaped the same and everything. There it is, side by side. So there's a post of it side by side. So you guys can go over to Twitter and check that out. It's on my Twitter feed. And thank you for, let me heart that and retweet it, repost it. All right, so I reposted. All right, Ed, an hour and 10 minutes. I appreciate you from Morocco. It's late at night. You're going to get to bed. How you doing on your fast, Ed? What's happening? And when the hell are you coming home, Mr. Wallace?
Should be home on the 11th of June. Okay. And so everything is going good. Yeah, I'm doing, my crew and I are doing some fasting, trying to lose a little weight. So everything is going good.
Shreveport, Louisiana says, hashtag Ed, those curtains behind you look like they may have come from Rex Heuermann's home. Have you been snooping around there and in between your trips? LSU and Morocco's, go Tigers.
Rawr, go Tigers. Yeah, these are Moroccan hotel curtains, not Ed Wallace's house. Okay. And I went looking for the tag on these curtains because I know so many of you like them and for whatever reason want them. Maybe it's like a throwback 70s kind of thing. I don't know.
Right.
But I couldn't find any tags. So I'll have to ask the front desk at the hotel here if these they have a name and make and model on these curtains so I can put it out to you all.
Do your best because people are counting on you, Ed. Austin puts in a great question. So if they connect him to Peaches, will that be enough to link him to other dismembered victims? If they link him to Peaches, it doesn't automatically lump him into connecting him to other victims. It all has to be, as Ed says, the science doesn't lie. So they have to, you have to forensically connect it to it. You can't just say, "Oh, we got you on this one." You got to have something to do with the others. Correct, Ed?
Yes. Each one has to have an individual link to Rex. You can't just say, "Okay, well, it's the same MO here with Peaches and some of these others." But if you don't have that connection between Rex and the other people, or if you have it with Peaches, you can't just assume it's the same for the others. You have to make the connection.
Right, and it's all got to be done, forensically and so forth, and all kinds of evidence has to match up. Hey, I want to just take a minute to thank everyone for being here. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed. We're both retired detectives. Ed is a forensic expert, and he's an expert in a lot of other things as well. I retired from the Fugitive Enforcement Division, so I'm an expert at hunting down and tracking down people. So if you are new here, please consider taking a chance and subscribing. We give it to you straight from a police detective's perspective. And if you are returning and you're here for a long time, Ed and I value your time and we value your subscription. So thank you to the replay viewers, the live chatters, the moderators, and everybody who positively engages. For those of you who go the step farther and further and go and support us with the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, Patreon support, super chats, and so forth, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We really, really do, because without your support, it's difficult to keep the channel going. So it's really, it's just such an important part of this. And subscribing is free. Watching videos are free. And by doing that, you are supporting us. So thank you. Thank you. I can't say enough about this live audience. And Ed, since you've come aboard in 2021, our live audience is so much in tune and so educated as it goes, as it pertains to forensics and evidence collection and how things go at crime scenes. And it's all thanks to you, Ed. So I tip my cap to you too.
I appreciate that, Ron. I love educating people about what it is I love to do and what I've done for so many years and still do. And so I'm happy to be here.
Ed, you are a diamond in the rough, and you're a gem for the community here. So I thank you again from the bottom of my heart. On behalf of
Ron,
Crime Time, what?
I got a little something. If you want to, if you think it's worth it, I could show our audience a little forensics here. I could show them how we could take a badly decompositioned arm and using infrared photography, bring up to that you couldn't see what your naked eye.
I'm down for that. I'm just putting the trigger warning in the chat right now.
All right, let me bring it up. Hold on.
Trigger warning: PTSD, friends and family, step out. This might be a rough one, but for those of you who are into it, hang out. Ed's going to be teaching. I'm going to leave Ed full screen so he could do his thing.
Okay. Bring these up. Okay. All right, folks, let me go share my screen.
In Ed Wallace, we trust.
Polygraph.
I don't have the thing here. Otherwise, I'd show it.
Okay.
Agati says, I'm ready. I'm ready. Jazzy Jewel said this would be cool.
Okay, so here's the decomped arm. Can everybody see that?
Oof.
It's badly decomped.
It almost looks
All
like
right.
it almost looks like it's charred.
No, that's bad case of decomposition. Can everybody see it?
Looks like it's
All right.
charred, like it's like barbecued.
All right, and now let me show you. Can everybody see that? That's this. Can everybody see it? Ron, can you see it?
I just see the same photo that you had up for the first time.
Okay, so let me stop sharing, and then I'll go back in and share again. Now this is the arm on the infrared, and you can see the tattoo more clearly.
Same piece of evidence with.
Can you see it?
Are you kidding me? It looks pristine.
Yeah, that's the same arm. This is what we can do with infrared photography. So this is on a badly decomp.
Oh my God. I almost Ed, you have to do me a favor. You have to send me both of those images to WhatsApp, and then I want to give them to Kristen, and we can upload those side by side. Would that be all right?
Yeah, so you can see how we can still pull out that tattoo information to use to identify this body, even though it was so badly decomped, using an infrared camera.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Because the first image looked like there would be no way that you could get that detail of that eagle tattoo.
I'll bring it up again so you can see what it looked like again.
That's unbelievable. Forensic science, ladies and gentlemen. Forensic science at its best. What do you guys think in the chat? I see everybody saying amazing. Oh my God. Wow.
So that's what it was before we photographed it with infrared.
You can't see anything. You can't even, maybe some wing detail, some of the detail now that I know it's there. But that is CSI shit. I'm just repeating what someone said in the chat. Here, I got to highlight this one. Where is it? Somebody said that CSI shit is unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that Ed Wallace. This is the kind of stuff Ed Wallace does. And I just love that you say I love my job. Did you have the second picture that you're going to show again, or no?
No, I did it already.
Okay, all right. Well, Ed, you always amaze us with your knowledge and the technology that's used in crime scene. And that, I don't think many people in the chat would have ever seen that had you not shared it. Now, I know YouTube will go ahead and demonetize us because of that, but for me, it's worth it to show that because...
I mean, why would they demonetize it? It's educational.
They do.
You didn't see anything too graphic.
They do. And that's why it's like you see stuff like this, I never shy away from it. We've shown 3D laser scans of actual crime scenes, and YouTube zonks those videos and they just kill them. They throttle them. They don't want people to see them. They say it's not good for advertisers, but I think it's good for us because we know the technology that's out there and we get an education on what our forensic scientists are doing across America, and across the world for that matter. So thank you, Ed. I appreciate it. I thank you guys all for being here. And again, as we always say, we want justice for the victims and their families. And we send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to all of the victims of Rex Heuermann and all the victims of crime across the globe. And I know, Ed, you always have something to say at the end of these things, so let's end it on a positive note.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here today. I know you have your choice of true crime channels you can go to, and thanks for your supporting of us. We still continue to grow. We're at 305,000 subscribers and growing, so keep spreading the word. We appreciate you doing that and taking your time here to be with us, your precious time. And as I say always, folks, stay safe, stay prepared, and watch your six.
Good day from New York and Morocco. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, we love you guys and thank you. Peace and love. Stand by for a message from Kara, Oscar, and Popeye, the cop team. Peace. Thank you, Ed.